as well as we are officially underway. And I am curious, since we both live on the West Coast, what time did you wake up to watch the game?
Well, I wasn't actually planning on waking up to watch the game, but my kids get up throughout the night. So I was up right around like 5 o'clock, caught the end of the game, which is kind of the meat and potatoes, what you needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually ended up watching the last inning with Teddy in my bed, and we had a great time. It ended up being a nice little morning there.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
I woke up at 3:52 local time. So I was about 50 minutes after first pitch. Obviously, I wanted to watch the baseball itself, but also our oldest son, Josh, is working on the Padres crew. So he is the associate director for these couple of games over in Korea. So I wanted to see how he was doing. So that was really cool to watch. We'll get a chance to break it all down momentarily. But first, a quick reminder. Baseball Today, brought to you by our friends at Factor. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal. It is chef crafted, it is dietitian approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You take that fork, you puncture it, you put it in the microwave, and your belly's going to be full. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week. That includes Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. And there are more than 60 add-ons to keep your belly full throughout the day. So head on over to factormeals.com/baseball50. Use that code. It's baseball50. You're going to get half off. Start doing it now. We started counting baseball games for real today. Dodgers come back with 4 in the 8th. They upend the Padres 5-2 is your final. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that Dodger offense, even when it's not doing big things, is going to grind you to death.
You said that to me, and I was like, I don't really know, C. Rosie.
What do you mean?
Are we watching this highlight, or are we talking through it here?
No. We're just. I mean, we're talking through. We're not giving a play-by-play of what happened. You tell me what you saw.
I mean, look, they're behind in that. What was it, the 8th inning there, and they didn't hit a ball. The only ball they hit over 100 miles an hour was the Freddie Freeman flyout. So, like, and grind you to death. They will do that. I don't know if that actually happened today. There was some funky stuff. Max Muncy getting an easy walk on a pitch clock violation, which I guess there was 5 of them during the game.
Yeah.
Some C&I singles by Mookie, by Shohei, and obviously the crazy glove malfunction by Cronenworth, which you're seeing right now. That is insane that it happened on obviously that play, but on a slow ground ball. When you're catching those guys, he's catching in between innings, guys rifling the balls across the diamond all the time. He's used that glove in spring training this entire time, but for some reason that ball decides to break the lace there. And man, I don't really want to say this, but that's a bad look for Wilson, because that's going to be shown over and over again over the next couple of days. And the fact that he took a Rawlings glove and put it on his hand after that, it's tough for your brand. But as far as grinding him down, I don't know if the Dodgers necessarily did that. They put up decent at bats and got rewarded for putting the ball in play. I'll give them that.
Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. Darvish was done before the end of the 4th inning.
Sure.
Okay. Glass now worked through the 5th, and he had all sorts of control issues. He had 4 walks on the day. The 4 Dodger relievers didn't have any. In the meantime, 7 Padres relievers, they combined for 4 walks. They threw 101 pitches compared to 50 out of the Dodger bullpen. At some point, you're going to lose a guy. You're going to put guys – you're going to deal with traffic. Darvish did a really, really good job at keeping the damage to a minimum, I thought. Got a huge strikeout of Muncy with the bases loaded. That was the first thing I saw. So I guess my point is that there is a real fine line when you're facing the Dodgers, because even when they're not barreling up the baseball, they still can make things happen. There's a few lineups that can do that, and I just think the Dodgers are one of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt that if you face the Dodgers, you're going to have to continue to score runs. They're going to be one of the league leaders in runs scored per game, all of those statistics. So I do agree with you there. I just don't think that was a great example tonight necessarily.
Okay.
That was like Padres fans' worst nightmare, seeing those, 74, 82 mile an hour per hour balls just get put into play and find a hole. And the Cronenworth thing, I actually thought that the runner got in front of him and he just kind of misplayed that ball. And then when they showed the slow-mo of the ball going, I mean, directly through the web. He had his glove positioned perfectly. That could have been a double play. You're out of the inning. One run.
By the way, Mad Dog, I think on First Take said Cronenworth's got to make that play. Well, yeah,
He said that.
as long as he did say that. As long as his equipment's as long as your equipment's working, Mad Dog, you could make that play. Next time I see him, I'm gonna have to get on him about that. Like he gives a shit based on what he's getting paid per show to do that. Two other things. First of all, seeing Chan-Ho Park throw out the first pitch. First of all, dude looks great. He looks ridiculous. And to throw it in a freaking suit, like tie, pants, sweet dress shoes, I'm like, okay, dude, you win.
I've seen Chan-Ho over the last couple of years at this golf tournament that I play in Vegas. He's like dialed in with all these businessmen. He does look great. And every year I try to we play in a poker tournament. If you get a guy all in and you win, you can take the jersey off of his back. I tried so hard last year. I was running really hot, and I was pushing my chips in, trying to get him to go all in against me, and he wouldn't do it. But Chan-Ho's a great guy. Like he's awesome. It was cool.
I love that. Yeah, that's cool. Next time you see him, ask him if he did groove the All-Star pitch to Cal Ripken Jr., please. I just made clarification.
Next year.
Number two, we didn't even know until a couple weeks ago that Shohei was married. And during this game, I felt like I was watching Taylor Swift at a Chiefs game. She was all over the place, which I liked. She's a basketball player. Mamiko Tanaka is her name, and it was cool to see her reacting to all of her husband's great moments in his Dodger debut. People who are gonna be like, oh God, why are they showing her? I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's cool too because we don't know anything about Shohei Ohtani. Like I want to know more about him. He's like probably the only player that I'm like, I want to know more about him. Like nowadays, you know everything about everyone just by going on their social media. You don't with Shohei. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. All right. One other question about these two teams moving forward. Which big three is more important to its team's success? Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, or Tatis, Machado, Xander?
I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's Tatis, Machado, and Xander. Like I think those guys have to play at the level that they're capable and have shown before in the big leagues. They have to be like 90 to 95% of like optimal performance for this team to really, really go. I like the Padres. I like what they've done. I do think they put themselves in a position to be in playoff contention, but that's only contingent on those guys being who they are. Like we need Tatis hitting 40 homers, stealing 40 bags. Like I want a 40 season out of this guy. We need Machado to play every single day. And I know he's DHing right now. Like we need these guys. I mean, they're getting paid to produce at a very, very high level. And this year in particular, and shoot, for the foreseeable future, they got to do it. Like these are the years that the Padres are paying for are these years. Those years later on, when they get a little bit older, we all know they might not be, or have the chance to perform at these levels. But this year, I think without a doubt, those three guys are much more important to their team. Not saying that Mookie and Freddie and Shohei aren't, but like to the success of their team, the degree of which they matter, it's a no-brainer for me that those three are.
The highest OPS out of those three Padres a year ago was Xander at 790. The lowest OPS out of the Dodgers triumvirate was Freddie Freeman at 976. Yeah.
True?
Yes. So the Padres.
What did Mookie put up last year?
Over that. It was like 980 something, I think. Yeah. And then Shohei was a $1. So the Padres, those dudes have a lot of work because elsewhere, listen, they cut $90 million off their payroll. And it wasn't just their pitching staff. Although that was a big part of it. They obviously had to replenish in their starting rotation, and they made the trade, where they got Soto out and brought in Michael King and 18 other pitchers. And then, they just made the trade for Dylan Cease. But a lot of that lineup is, I'm not going to say unproven, but it certainly isn't as deep and productive as the Dodgers. So there are times where Mookie and Freddie and Shohei can kind of chill for a minute, and maybe Will Smith and Max Muncy and Gavin Lux can go carry him for a little while, if they need to. Padres, they have some guys that could be, Cronenworth had like an all-star-ish season a few years ago. Campusano is interesting. I'm rooting for Jackson Merrill, but he's 20. So that's the way I look at it.
Send you a text, Chris. I don't know if your phone is close to the microphone or something. We're getting some clicking noises on my end.
All right, that's my fault. I'll tell you what else sound I made that nobody liked, according to the chat, was the Mad Dog. I apologize for those of you.
Don't do that. We don't need that here.
Yeah, I know. So that was my fault.
It's a safe space.
It is a safe. I don't know if it's safe anymore. So sorry about that, guys. My fault. I'll raise my hand. I'm an idiot. Sorry, chat. We're keeping our eye on Eduardo Rodriguez, who left Tuesday's game with a possible oblique injury for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He left, I believe, in the second inning. That would be negatory for them. That's no good. Those things can cost you the better part of 6 to 8 weeks if you're a pitcher. We'll see. Meanwhile, Bryce Harper is expected to return the lineup for the Phillies later this week. He's missed the last several games with a bad back. Don't know if you care much about spring training stats, but the two-time MVP, 0 homers, 1 rib, has had back issues before. He says it's nothing to worry about. Are you worried?
Okay, I think it's two different things. Am I worried about spring training statistics with Bryce Harper? Absolutely not. Like, he's a guy that you can confidently say when the lights turn on, he's going to be there. Like, I don't care at all about spring training statistics with a guy like Bryce Harper. The back is that concerning to me? Yeah, a little bit. He dealt with it last year. I'm looking at an article right here. He had back spasms in an August 10th game. He left that game early, missed the next game, then he returned to action. He actually ended up starting 14 the next 20 games. So he's dealt with this before. I think he understands his body and when to push on the brakes a little bit. Spring training is a good time to do that. I'm more concerned about the back lingering and, zapping a little bit of that power because, you torque your body so much, especially a guy like Bryce has a beautiful swing, but it's also a very violent swing. Like, there's a lot of energy put into that. So the back is a little bit concerning for me. The spring training numbers mean absolutely nothing to me. But right now it looks like they're probably coinciding a little bit right there. Like, back has been bothering him a little bit, probably hampering his swing. So it's smart for him now to say, let's just take some time here. And even if he has to take a week off or whatever it is before their first game, if he didn't play in any more spring training games and then went back out there for the first actual regular season game, I wouldn't be worried about statistically, as long as his back is feeling good.
I know that every athlete is different, but I am worried a little bit on the Tiger Woods scale here because you talked about the violent swing. Tiger had the most violent swing in the history of golf. And what was one of the first things to go on him? It was his back. And then it would be his knee. And then everything else started going to shit. And he really never could fully recover from that. And that's the thing I do worry about with Bryce Harper. Now, obviously, the move from right field to first base is going to alleviate chasing after balls in the gap and the pounding that it puts on your body and particularly your back. Here's the thing. Bryce Harper was made to be in the 500 home run club. He was made to be there. And he's at 306 right now. He's 31 years old. He doesn't turn 32 until October. I really hope he gets there. But I could see it where he becomes like a 25 homer guy, and then it starts to kind of go down and go down. And, you need him at his best in August, September, and October. And that's the deal, because I think that team is good enough to hang around without him in the lineup every day. But, yeah, I am. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried.
I'd imagine as he does start to age and, starts to deal with problems that come with aging, backs, knees, and whatever comes, he, like you said, he swings violently. I'd imagine he makes some mechanical adjustments as he gets further on in his career. There's just too much technology now with biomechanics, hooking yourself up, understanding the way your body moves. And Bryce is too much of a student of the game. If he ends up continuously having to deal with these problems, to not go somewhere and say, hey, how can we alleviate some of this pain? Let's look at my mechanics. What am I doing to my back? Let's look at what the torque is. How can I put it more in, my legs than my back? I could see him doing that. So similar to the pitcher, later on in his career, changing the way he throws in his repertoire to, elongate his career. I believe Bryce will probably make a similar adjustment, probably like just how Tiger Woods had to make an adjustment with his swing as well. So I think 500 home runs is a no-brainer, man.
I mean, it's 194 more, right? So even
Over
if
10.
yeah, over 10. I mean, we're assuming 10 years. That's
He wants to play 15.
I know, but wanting to play, you know what? I want to be the lead actor in a comedy. That shit ain't happening anytime soon.
You don't know that.
I do, actually. I don't know how in the world I was voted in high school. You know how they do the voting thing? Voted. You were you voted prom king?
No, I was not. My best friend Ollie Linton was. It's the only thing we had. What are those called? Superlatives?
Shout out Ollie.
Yeah, shout out Ollie, my guy. I went to an all boys school, bro. So it wasn't like cutest or best smile. You know what I mean?
Why?
I don't even know if we had a yearbook at my school.
I was voted funniest and thinks he's funniest.
Nail on the head, baby.
I know, right? I know. Well, not funniest, but definitely thinks he's funniest. That one.
You're pretty funny, but you also think you're really funny.
I know. I have a lot of issues. By the way, Harper hasn't played in more than 141 games since 2019. I don't think he gets to 141 this year either. I think he's going to be like 130 a year, and I'm okay with that, by the way. Usually I wouldn't be. For him and his importance to the team, and when I need him healthy, I'd be okay with 130.
Okay.
It's weird that I've kind of changed my stance on that, but maybe it's just for him. All right, final few opening day starters were named. Best matchup, in my opinion, unquestionably, it's going to be Wheeler against Strider, Phillies Braves. That's awesome. But give me one other one that kind of piqued your interest. You say, you know what? A little under the radar, but I'll be watching.
Okay, so I was going to say Cole Reagans versus Pablo Lopez, but I feel like people are like, oh, you always say the Twins. I actually think that's an excellent pitching matchup. All the pitching nerds love Pablo and Reagans, and so I think there's going to be a lot of talk about it. I'm going to give you another one because for different reasons. I'm going to go Luis Castillo of the Mariners versus Brian Bayo of the Red Sox because both Dominican players – one more of like an elder statesman, has the contract, done everything. Bayo just got the deal. So I want to see like how he responds to that. Also, a little north-south Dominican rivalry. Luis is from Boni, Dominican Republic, and Bayo's from Samana, which is in the north. So it's like, like a little regional rivalry within the Dominican. I dig it. I know when those guys go up against each other,
yeah,
like there's a little added juice there, and like both these guys are like flashy kind of players.
Is that a real thing? Is there a split in the region? Is it kind of like Northern California against Southern California? Do we know that, or is that just a geographical thing that you're?
I'm just calling geographical. I don't know if there's like NorCal versus SoCal, like bra versus bra. No, I don't know about that, but
North Side versus South Side in Chicago.
I just like it. I you know what? I'm telling you right now. A couple Dominican twirlers out there going up against each other. One's young, one's a little bit older. Like, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
AL Central, I think it's interesting. Tariq Skubal, who I think could really, really make a big leap this year, came back off the injury last season. I thought he pitched really well, going against Garrett Crochet, who's going to be the 9th pitcher in the last 110 years to make his first career start on opening day, which is ridiculous. Did you see who the last one was, by the way?
No.
I imagine you faced Tanner Sheffers.
It rings a bell.
Rangers, you had to have. He made 4 career starts, and one of them was on opening day in 2014. The pitcher, by the way, before that to have done it, Fernando Valenzuela. He was the last one in 1981. So in 2014, 1981. So it doesn't happen that much. But the one I'll really be watching, the world champs, first time ever, they're going to get their rings. It's going to be fun. Taking on the Cubs, Justin Steele was fantastic last year, right? All-star season. I believe he led all qualified starters in home run rate allowed. 0.7. Really good at keeping the ball in the park. And against that team, good luck, especially with all that juice happening down there and all that emotion. I think it's really, here's the biggest reason why I'm watching. Nathan Eovaldi gets the ball. He is only the second native Texan ever to get the opening day start for the Texas Rangers.
I like that.
The other one?
Jake. Oh.
This
Nolan
one's
Ryan?
obvious. Nolan Ryan. And what do those two have in common? Nolan Ryan and Nathan Eovaldi.
I just had a good joke. I won't say it, though. I don't know. What do they have in common, Chris?
What was your joke?
Don't worry about it. I'm sure people can guess.
Why not? Okay, let's go for it.
Massive hogs. I don't know. What's up?
I cannot confirm nor deny that. They went to the same high school.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Pretty cool. I don't know. They're both from Alvin, Texas.
That is really cool, actually.
Yeah,
Same high school, too?
Yeah.
How come I didn't know that? I mean,
you
he's
probably
my guy.
heard it.
Eflin's my guy. Point. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Who's
cool.
your guy?
Eflin.
I said Nathan Eovaldi.
That's what I meant. Eovaldi. Sorry.
I know we've been up a long time.
I just was doing something. I just sent a picture to Dan to use, and I was kind of focused on that. Yeah, Eovaldi. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of like similar guys too, by the way.
You still with me, by the way? Are you okay?
Isn't Eflin from Texas as well, or is he from Florida?
I don't know where he's from.
Okay.
I don't know where, but he is getting the opening day start.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And he's your guy. Oh, for
Eovaldi, I hit a homer against. Nolan Ryan, I did not hit a homer against.
No. You would have gotten one in your ear hole the next time, by the way, if you had.
I know Robin Ventura.
Wow. All right, last thing here. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid is going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch during the Royals game.
That's going to be interesting.
Andy was a heck of an athlete. I mean, I know that these days he's...
Is he going to be wearing like a Tommy Bahama shirt? Like,
yeah,
round.
Yes, that's what he does. Dude,
it ain't going to be off the mound. I can guarantee you that.
So Andy's probably 66, I'm going to guess right now. You've seen the video of him in the punt, pass, and kick when he was 13, right?
Yes, I have actually.
Video, yeah, where he's like 2 feet taller than everybody competing. Anyway, give me a good first pitch story, either one that you caught or one you were in attendance for, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that celebrity's there or whatever.
Yeah, there's been a bunch from. I actually really enjoy first pitches. I think it's a very difficult thing to do, and I think anybody that actually does it deserves like a lot of credit because I mean, there's not one person. I don't care what kind of athlete you are. There's not one person that is confident. Like everyone is very, very nervous. Even the former players are like, "Dang man, like I got to throw a strike here." But I have one that's like kind of like I didn't at the time. I was like, whatever. But now it's like kind of turned into something crazy. I was with the Rays, not playing very much. So, I'm one of the guys that will go catch the first pitches. And this little girl comes out, little blonde girl. And she's a singer. She's doing like a post-game concert afterwards. She must have been 15 years old, I think, at the time. Something like that. Maybe 16. I don't know. It was Sabrina Carpenter. She threw me a first pitch. This girl's like one of the most famous people on the planet now. And I sent Dan a picture. And her and I just hanging out together. So, like, I was rubbing elbows with Sabrina Carpenter. I'm going to tell you how many Instagram followers she has right now. Hold on one sec.
Okay. In the meantime, not to put Dan on the spot, but Dan, are we going to get that? We're going to get that photo up.
He's doing it. He's got it.
Oh, he's okay. Good. He'll get it. He'll get it after I tell my.
She's got 33 million Instagram followers.
33 million,
dude. She's like turned into like an absolute superstar, and here I was just slumming it with her down at the Trop.
Damn, 33 million. That's 33 Nikki Casses. There you go. Ah, look at you guys.
I told you she was like a 14, 15-year-old girl. Now she's doing her thing. So congratulations, Sabrina, on an amazing career.
Nice. Awesome. There you are.
Yeah.
Okay, 33 million.
Like she's got songs on the radio now like all the time. She's like a pop star.
Does she follow you?
I don't follow her either. Should I just go follow for follow? You think she actually does her social media with 33 million followers? No, she doesn't.
She hits the follow back button? Possibly. For me, people probably, I don't know if you remember, but I totally screwed up the first pitch in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. I one-hopped it in the wrong batter's box. That's fine. You know that one. However, the first one I ever threw out in a major league stadium, we took Best Damn down to Miami, and we took BP with the Marlins pitchers before the game Josh Beckett, whom I knew a little bit, was like, what are you guys doing here? And I was like, well, we're all throwing out the first pitch. It was 4 of us. So it was me, Dibble, John Sally, Rodney Pete. All 4 of us were going to throw out the first pitch. He's like, oh, I got you. No problem. I was like, okay, any advice? He said, yeah, listen, throw it where you think you're going to throw it 3 feet over my head, because when you throw it down off the mound, it's going to go down. So whatever you do, throw it 3 feet over my head. I said, okay. He gets down in a catcher's stance. I throw it like 2 feet over his head. He doesn't move. He just sits there and he lets it go all the way to the backstop. And I go up to him. I was like, you motherfucker. He's like, gotcha.
That's tough.
Like, you are an asshole. What a jerk.
Were you nervous, right? Like, you're
Yes!
nervous out there. Yeah.
Was,
the ball feels like a little pebble in your hands at that point. And
yeah. I mean, Rodney had been drafted twice by the A's and had played quarterback 16 years. Dibble, of course, we all know Dibble. And Sal was just going to lob it anyway. He didn't know what a baseball was. So pressure was on me, and I freaking throw it all the way to the backstop. Everybody was like, oh, Rose, you can't. Damn it, Beckett.
That's better than bouncing it. Bouncing is just not acceptable. Like, you got to get it there. It's like a putt. Can't leave it short.
I've done that too.
Me too. Shoot.
All right, don't forget to get your factor question of the weekend. Please send them in. We're going to use it on tomorrow's show when Jolly's actually filling in for Plouffe. Plouffe has a little bit of a, what do we do? A little spring break.
We'll talk about that. I actually might be able to do it tomorrow. We'll talk.
What?
About it.
Oh boy.
Things changed a little bit.
Oh God. Okay. It'll either
Are you
be
happy?
Of course, I'm always happy when you're here. I just, I don't want to embarrass anybody, and I don't want to ruin Jolly's hopes. He so looks forward to doing this show.
Hey, can I ask the chat? Is my microphone better today? We made some adjustments in it. I think I was a little too high pitched the last couple different episodes. So chat, how does it sound?
Okay. Anyway, it's going to be Yamamoto and Musgrove in the second of 2 games over in South Korea, and then they'll fly back here. I think both teams have exhibition games before they actually suit up on March 28th. Let's see here. Nothing from the chat yet. Or maybe mine just stalled out, which is very possible.
Okay.
All right. So we'll assume that you sounded good. All right. So maybe we'll see Plouffe tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see Plouffe tomorrow. If not, it'll be Jolly Olive in his place. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, who always is just working to the nines. He's always crushing it. And the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, who has a new best friend that he's going to follow on Instagram. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Thursday on Baseball Today, presented to you by Factor.